Hi, my name is Gerhard Gschwandtner. Welcome to Selling Power TV. Today we have the great pleasure of meeting with Marcus Sheridan. He is a consummate salesman, a great marketer, and an amazing speaker. Welcome, Marcus.
Hey, Gerhard, it's a pleasure to be here, buddy, and I'm excited to chat with you and hopefully say something of value to your audience.
Let's start out with how did you get into the pool sales business in Virginia?
I was actually, after I graduated college in West Virginia, I was working in Northern Virginia and didn't like it, and so I went back to where I grew up, Northern Neck, and I said, okay, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do next. And my two buddies had just started a swimming pool company, and they had literally just opened this little retail store in the town of Warsaw, Virginia. And they said, hey, Marcus, could you run the store while we are out installing pools? Didn't think anything of it until 6 months in. They said, why don't you become the third partner? And we just grew like everybody else. But then in 2008, 2009, we have the crash, as everybody knows. Very difficult time for pool companies, right? Lots of pool companies went out of business. During this time, because of the struggles, that I started to really focus on how today's buyer had changed. Started to read more about the internet. And to make a long story really short, Gerhard, is we said, okay, why don't we become the Wikipedia of pools? And we became obsessed with answering our customers' questions, fears, worries, concerns, etc. on our website, on the front end of that buying process. And today, it's the most trafficked swimming pool website in the world. We get about 750,000 visitors a month. And it saved the business. We're the largest installer of fiberglass pools in the US, and we're manufacturing them all over the country. If somebody has the resources, the smart thing to do is to go out and hire a recent journalist graduate. Why? Because they can write, they can edit, they can interview, and so they can get that subject matter expertise that's in your head or in your subject matter experts' heads, sales teams, engineers, whatever that might be, and get it up on the screen. And not only that, many of them are great with social, many of them are good with video, and most of them can't get a job. And so we've got a high supply and a low demand when it comes to journalism students in the marketplace. They are out there, they are ready, they are available, and they're ready to use their skills. And you as an employer can fill a major need in the marketplace. And so we hire them for companies all the time. And you don't have to spend an arm and a leg, but the impact that this position can have on your company is absolutely profound.
You said in one of your speeches that every company needs to become a media company. What do you mean by that?
Well, what percentage of your website right now is video based? For most companies, 5 to 10%. What percentage of your sales process is a video based sales process? Very, very small for most organizations. Studies have shown that videos on social get 1,200% more likes and shares than text and images combined. And so if this is all the reality, and it is, we have to say, okay, we're a media company. And so if we're a media company, we do things differently than everybody else. For example, one thing that we do is we say, okay, I need to hire a full-time videographer. And what's crazy is once you start to really integrate video into the sales process, my gracious, there are so many opportunities. Let me give you the video that moves the sales needle the most, okay? That almost nobody has produced. And it's so obvious when you think about it. We call this the 80% video. What is the 80% video? Well, you talk to any salesperson and you say, all right, what percentage of the questions you get on a first sales call are generally the same questions every time, assuming it's the same product or service, right? Most of the time, they're going to say about 80%. About 80% of the questions I get are redundant, same from prospect to prospect, right? So what would happen if before you met with that prospect, before you shook their hand, they not only knew the answers to those 80%, but they had heard it from you, they had watched it from you, and they felt like they knew you because of it. I mean, how different would that sales call be? It would be dramatically different. But the problem is we generally don't integrate this stuff into the sales process, and it's a huge mistake. The idea is before the handshake, they should feel like they have seen us, they have heard us, and that they know us.
But also research shows that if you embed a video in a prospect call, then you have a 27% chance or more to get it opened compared to simple text emails.
Yeah, exactly. And if you put video into the subject line, that also increases your open rates. One activity I like to do with companies, Gerhard, is oftentimes I'll say to them, the sales team, I say, okay, let's brainstorm all the claims that you make as an organization, right? And we like to make claims, right? We're the best this, we're the most that, we have the greatest this, that, whatever. Now, once they've made that list, there's two questions you want to analyze. First question is, how many of your competitors make a similar, if not same, claim? And then the second one, it's usually at least 80% or more. And the second question is, how many of these claims have you visually proven through video and not just stated? And what's wild is usually the answer is none. It's scary. It's 2019. We don't have a choice at this point. So yeah, I'm definitely in line with you in those sentiments. Studies have shown 70% of the sales process occurs before they actually talk to the salesperson. That's that digital space. And that's also why I think salespeople in general need to start to say, look, I'm not just in sales, I'm in marketing. I'm going to get involved on the front end. I'm going to be involved on videos. I'm going to meet with my marketing team. I'm going to say, what can I do? Can I get on camera? Can I help in any way? Because otherwise, they're risking being left behind. That's the reality of the situation.
I totally agree, and I think you're really onto something, that the video is the new face-to-face for inbound and outbound. How did you get into the speaking business?
Well, first I just started telling this story, right, of what I've been doing with River Pools. And a lot of people said, why are you telling everybody how to do what you do? But the reality is you can take a horse to water, but you can't make a drink. And so as I started telling this story, more and more companies and conferences started saying, hey, can you tell that at my event? I mean, we are going to have a conversation together. It ain't about me, the keynoter. It's about us and what we are going to accomplish together. And the second part of it is I'm obsessive about very clear takeaways. And I think it's easy to make an audience laugh or feel good. But the question is, do they actually take action? And unfortunately, oftentimes when they, an audience member might hear a keynote and you go to them afterwards and say, did you love that keynote? And they might say, yes. And then you say, what are you going to do about it? And oftentimes they'll say, geez, I'm not really sure, but I sure felt good. To me, that would be a fail. I would have failed that audience, because the only thing that I'm going to judge it on is, did they take action? And if they did, that means I was successful as well.